Hello, strangelings. Welcome back to the parlor. Of course, you guys know we are here for a reading. So, let us get to that. And of course, I gotta do the loud part, so... Sorry guys, I had to find a little quieter way to, shake the jar because someone's sleeping. Looked over at my coin this time. That was sufficient enough to see that the handle was over here. That was more than 3 and I didn't even get a chance to shake it. Sorry guys, I did go ahead and do a little expectorant earlier, but it didn't really do much good today. So I continue to force myself to have to do extra editing. It's not my fault, it's the environment. Not much I can do about it. I'd been talking about it since I was about 6 years old, and it's just how it went, you know? So, on to the beads. We have an L. We also have a Q. I keep hitting these flowers, sorry guys. We have a U. We also have a very modern sewing machine. And we have, I would call this a ruler opposed to a tape measure. So, you work with sewing machines, but you also work with rulers. Or you're enthusiastic about them, or you make them, you know, they fit your life somewhere. Somehow. I'm trying not to be too loud today, guys, because Morgath just got a new job schedule. He's going to be doing overnights, so right now he's kind of getting himself used to sleeping in the middle. He went to bed around 6 this morning, almost around the time I woke up, probably. I think I woke up at 6:30, so yeah. And I'm waking up earlier than I normally do just because of the schedule changes he had before this, so. If I seem groggy, guys, it's because I'm groggy. My circadian rhythms aren't fans of going ahead and being switched around very often. It is what it is, you know. Hopefully we won't have much more sleep changes after this. But you never know. So, it has been bugger hot these days. Yesterday was supposed to be getting up into like 100 or so. But I had to buy myself one of these little personal fans just to make sure that I'm not suffering from heat stroke constantly. Heat stroke sucks, guys. As a kid, I learned exactly how terrible it really was. I had my most severe case of heat stroke had me in bed for almost 2 days. I couldn't hold anything down, so everything I had to be fluid. I was so hungry because my body doesn't register just fluids as necessarily having ate. Finding this out again as I'm going through a monthly fasting practice to hopefully deal with pain issues. Not to get too gross about it. So I'm re-finding out that my body doesn't register food as food, it's just simply liquefied. So basically I'm just trying to force nutrients into my body when eating solid foods is something that causes pain. You know. I'm sure my body will eventually adjust a schedule to it. Oh no, my incense cone went out. Second, guys. See if I can't get that to relight. You guys know I like the scent. I don't like to... I would just sit here. A little bit of incense ash on the desk. That's not useful at all, guys. There's nothing the incense ash will do for us, unfortunately. Be nice. I mean, it is sage. So a lot of the Native Americans believed sage was for intuition and brain work. They were smart people, I'm telling you. I don't think this is going quite enough yet. I think I do have to give it an actual full light. Hold on, guys. And if you're wondering, this is my cigar lighter. Not that I smoke cigars often. That should hopefully starting to come down the bottom, so hopefully that should work. Okay. Alright. And a note I've got to remember to take down. Alright, so let's see what the cards have for you guys today. Okay. Hard times, it's celebrating. Careful. Okay. So, beginning of the inquiry here, beginning of what we're asking about, you were at a state of sorrows are over, even if it's temporary. This is a harvest celebration is what this card is. A lot of people they have various ideas as to what this card is supposed to mean. This is a harvest festival. And I can tell you that because you've got all these people in the background. They are sitting around together. You've got all of the fresh harvest here. This is a harvest festival card. So harvest festival is a daunting, tough time now overcome. So it's a moment of celebration after a daunting, tough task, which is, by the way, a repeated task. So it's something that happens repeatedly, which makes the celebration more important because it is the break from the daunting, just absolute rigor of the task itself, right? That's the importance of the Four of Wands. It is that moment, that breath, that break, that seeing the sun for going back into the mine kind of moment, you know? So you were in this harvest celebration moment. And in this harvest celebration moment, you were at a King of Pentacles. You were somebody who was sought as an authority figure, as somebody with possibly even knowledge on a particular thing. I forgot to bring my water in, and my table is down, so I kind of have to, like, hope that this isn't too hot, guys. And of course you had enough resource, and this might actually be financially, it's definitely material, because it's, you know, you're the King of Pentacles here. You'd be the King of Cups if it was non-material. To the point that somebody began to see, or that people to the point that people began to see you as maybe even a guru type. I'm not necessarily seeing the Hierophant necessarily as a bad thing, but you guys know how this works with me. That kind of stuff I won't necessarily know until I've gotten through these cards, so. But it looks like it was a moment of celebration, a break from the monotony, from the work, from the whatever it is. And you, in this moment, were a King of Pentacles and were beginning to be sought as a Hierophant, as someone with, essentially, seen as somebody with the authority to speak on things beyond this realm kind of person. Oh. Okay, this is a suggestion, I think. I still haven't gotten a jar for this one yet, sorry guys. I'm trying to find... To be honest with you, I kind of want to make a cloth box for it, so it's not too loud, because you guys know how loud this thing, I mean, you guys should know how loud this thing can be. You guys don't get to hear how loud because I don't like to make you hear how loud it is, but, you know, I like to save your guys' ears, but, you know, I'm thinking I want to go for a cloth box for that. Unfortunately, I can't do a cloth box for my beads because, well, I could do a sewn cloth box, I guess. I don't know. I might. We'll see. I've got a really big project coming up here that I'm going to be working on. Actually, today, in this week, is going to be research week for that project. So give me one moment, guys. I want to know if the Hierophant is the classic Bohemian Hierophant. So, let me go ahead and jiggle this up a little bit. And then... Ah, that wasn't even a flip. Sorry, guys. I'm not even gonna bother looking at that. I'm not doing that one because that was my hand in the way. I don't know. I didn't look at it. I'm looking up here at the wall on my fancy thing I got for my birthday, and no, it's not the classic Hierophant. So you're not somebody out here doing grifting and trying to draw people in at all costs. So what I'm seeing here is if this is present day. Now, I have said before that this is up to present day and this is after. Now, here's the thing. Yes, that is the split in time. This is what is leading up to what I need to say, and this is the what I need to say to you, essentially. But today might not literally be today, because what I'm feeling here is this is telling me as if this is something that has passed, but it is post today, so it is tomorrow and on for the reading. So what I'm seeing here before I need to know if there's a way that tomorrow is avoidable. Is tomorrow avoidable? I mean, I know all of our decisions change literally everything that happens. Sorry, guys. All of our decisions change literally everything that happens. So we know that it is changeable, but there are also certain things that are just likely to happen, and that's usually because this is not changeable. There's no way I can warn you to avoid this. So that's what this is. This is telling you. Okay. I am hearing this as if it's past, but it is not past because this is not changeable, and I have no way to tell you a different direction to go to even avoid the whole thing. However, this is advice on the path going forward once this happens. I might actually see if I can pull out any characteristics of the person you are, I would say should avoid, but it's not going to be avoidable, apparently. This person is going to come towards you no matter what. If they're going to come at you no matter what, then maybe if we can forewarn and forearm, you know. Maybe if you know what this person's going to be like, then you can at least know where you have to do what you need to do and avoid the worst of it, maybe? Hopefully. But what I'm seeing here is... What I'm seeing here is you are about to suffer what feels like a defeat. It feels like a definite defeat. It feels like the end. It feels like there's no reason to go any further whatsoever. Because dear Lord. This comes at the hand of someone who's presenting themselves as a Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, that would be the queen of things non-abundant. I'm sorry, non-abundant, non-material, sorry. Abundant in the things non-material. She's looking at these cups, though. My mind is pointed towards the way she's looking at these cups. Let me see if I can. I'm not sure why give me a moment. Let me turn this up just a tad more. There we go. Not sure why. I thought I had before, but you know, me showing you these cards. Now that's from the monitor, guys. But if you look at her face here, I don't know if she's gonna focus. I don't know. Hold on, guys. Let me. If you look at her face here, she's looking at this cup, this fancy cup of hers. She almost looks upset today, to me. That's the thing that's pulling out today, is she almost looks upset. Almost like she's manically watching her cup. But she brings this feeling to you via the fairy's choice. Now, we've discussed the fairy's choice before, guys. I've had it come up in reading, and I have talked to you about that before. The fairy's choice is a choice full of both illusion and reality. A fairy's choice is a choice filled with glamour magic. Now, of course, I'm not one who believes in magic as an actual things are happening around us. I know there are plenty who do, and that's okay for you. Just not something I believe in. But glamour magic is not something that requires a belief in magic. Glamour magic can happen every single day. That's what a grifter is all about. They do glamour magic. They don't do it with spells. They don't do it with potions. They don't do it with herbs. Some people might. But even those people aren't actually doing it with that. They're achieving their goal in a completely different way. It's just that it looks like that is working because they're doing that while everything else they're doing is working. It's like the idea they have in The Secret, where there's this child who wants a bike, and he talks about this bike, and he draws this bike, and he's thinking about this bike, and he tells his dad he wants this bike, and his dad tells him he's going to have to do this, that, and the other for this bike, and he gets upset, or something like that. It's been at least a decade since I watched it, so I could be slightly off. But anyway, he gets frustrated because he hasn't got this bike yet. He crumples a piece of paper up and he tosses it. Well, no, he hadn't talked about the bike. That's why. Because that's when his dad found the picture of the bike, found out that he wanted the bike, and then got him the bike. Now the idea, of course, was that he was thinking in a positive manner about this bike, and eventually it came to him. But when somebody knew that he wanted the bike, and when he was doing the things he needed to do to get the things he wanted out of other people, of course the bike's going to come to him. It's just a 1 and 1 make 2 plus 4 make 6 equation, you know? The dad finding the bike is the 6, obviously. Anyhow, so the fairy's choice and glamour magic in general happens as a con, mainly. Cons can happen for good reasons, but mostly cons happen for bad reasons. The fairy's choice is essentially doing the same thing magicians have been doing for eons. And that's, okay, the cards are over here, look over here while I do this over here, and you won't necessarily see it. You see. This is why I actually have 2 cameras, because I'm not doing sleight of hand or whatever else with my card readings. I am doing exactly what you see. Now, of course, we've talked about this before. There are plenty of card readers who will sit here and just kind of, yep, and then there's this, yep, and then there's this one. Not necessarily because they actually shuffled them out or pulled them out while they were shuffling or anything like that. Now, of course, there are plenty of them that I have personally seen actually go through and be like, yep, and then, oop, yep, see, you got your friends here, blah, 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 and then, yep, so, and then you got, oh, and yep, and your friends are praying for you. You know, I've seen it both on and off camera. That's the kind of sleight of hand that I don't do. But that's the kind of sleight of hand that does make glamour magic. You know, a magician can, a modern magician can easily be seen as someone who actually does real glamour magic, and that's all sleight of hand. So what you have to be able to do is watch this person's sleight of hand and use it to put yourself onto the fool's path instead, because what they'll want to be doing is well, what will they want to be doing? Give me a moment, guys. Let me see what their goal is that they are reaching here. Those ones are so much more clear. I'm sorry. Okay. So what is it that they want? Oh, God, no. Okay, so according to these cards, what she is wanting here is... Now, this is the Devil's card, yes. However, there's a secondary thing here. The Devil's card also includes the Lovers, mainly because temptation allowed the lovers to choose to sin. So therefore, they became domain of the devil. She's drawing you in. She's going to be drawing you in. You're going to be nothing but a workhorse, or a beast of burden for her. While she is going to be in the background doing some clandestine work. Now, of course, is she proposing romance? Is this Queen of Cups? When I say she, I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the card. So, I mean, if this is a reading for a woman who is a heterosexual woman, this is going to be a queen. This Queen of Cups is going to be a nurturer and provider who is a male. So, that's where they take it, where how it resonates kind of crap they keep doing actually does fall in. So go ahead and flip this coin. Yes, okay, so she's going to come in. She's going to be trying to come in as a lover. So she is going to be trying to come in. And basically, I need you to help me do this. I need you to do this, burdensome work for me so that we can do this, so that we can be together, and this is ours together kind of thing. But it's going to be a lot of clandestine stuff. I'm not going to say she wouldn't. I'm not going to say she's lying about the share, but I am going to say that the share of work is not the same. I'm going to say that half and half is fine for reward, but not necessarily for 20/80 work. That's what I'm going to say. Which is why they suggest that you take the Fool's Path, because it's going to be something they're going to be draining the life of you. They're going to be making you feel like you are completely defeated because you are doing this heavy, burdensome work all the time, while their work is a very light load kind of work. And that's the choice they're giving you. So, and also something popped out to me for some reason. So, if you look here, this ornate cup she has. It's almost as if she pounded out one of these other cups. Maybe even pounded out one to make a top. And that one she pounded out to make a top, look, could almost match the shape of that hat she's wearing. So, could explain why she's looking so intensely at the cup, because the cup is almost a false cup. It's a real cup. Its ornateness, however, is forged. And she also had a second cup before that she destroyed to help create the ornateness of her cup and her also fancy headwear. So her last, hold on, let me find it here. Hold on. So try to keep them close to the camera view there. Her last Two of Cups situation was used up to create the ornateness that she's now using to attract your attention, to offer you the fairy's choice, and to, assumably, if she's done this to get her cup more ornate and to have this more ornate piece to make her look more regal, assumably she's likely to do it to you too. She will give you the illusion of being a lover for her. She will then turn this into her opportunity to go further in her ornateness, to go further in her, you know, further in her ego and pride. So the suggestion is, let go of your ego and pride. Walk onto the fool's path and don't look back, you know? So as I said, I want to go ahead and see if I can't get some characteristics here. Because forewarned is forearmed, right? And if you know somewhat who this is, then you will know somewhat who to look out for. And you might not be able to avoid this person. Perhaps they will succeed in making themselves irresistible from the second cup, you know. But at least you'll be able to, when the fairy's choice comes, understand what it is you're looking at and go for what hopefully is what you need to go for. There we go. It's towards the end I can get it to actually do it the right way, so trying to get them, I have to get them all to try to bend one direction before I can really get them to try to go together. It's just the way I am. Characteristics of the Queen of Cups. Okay. Poised. Poised. They are somebody who will seem to give you your laurels extremely easily. Almost over flatter. Probably often. But they will also be the person who decides that they will be the leader of the pack. They will present themselves as, I should lead because I know all of this wealth of knowledge. And for all intents and purposes, they do seem to be a cult of personality. So, they probably do get people to follow them quite easily, quite often. And in fact, this might be somebody, therefore, who has a following already. They might have some very loyal people around them who wouldn't necessarily say boo unless she told them to. Kind of hype her up a lot type people. So yeah, this Queen of Cups, you're looking for somebody who is poised, who is very well mannered, I would say, almost presents as elegant, who will not only hype you up, but hype you up to the point of maybe overabundant flirtation even. But they're going to also be the person who seems to be the leader of their friend group, who they snap their fingers and everybody jumps. She says jump and everybody says how high, kind of thing. She says the moon is yellow and everyone says it almost looks like a banana. You know, she says the moon is blue and they say it's a blueberry in the sky. you know, kind of person. So yeah, remember her intentions are to make you be the workhorse. They're clandestine. They're things that could get you in a lot of trouble. And she wants this so that she can go ahead and continue her dynasty. Likely. But that's not to say she will ruin you necessarily, but she definitely will use you hard. And it's not to say that you have to walk away from her either, should you choose not to. Though, stress and hard work in life, I always feel like should be shared with everybody who is going to benefit from it. Because stress and hard work is a hard thing to bear. The shoulder weight of that is immense. So, you know, I personally would not suggest trying to stay around this person. They are going to try to make it about romance. They're just not maybe the person to be romantic with. Or maybe when you see this person coming, if you do actually have the curiosity as to what a romantic relationship with this person looks like, maybe just very slowly, very cautiously, and, you know, keep aware of the signs. Make sure you are looking for flags. You know, green flags are what you want, not the red ones. I know some guys are just like, oh, I like those crazy chicks, but don't do it. Don't do it. And if you're actually a woman and are looking for a man, or look for men, and this man comes, presents himself with poise, compliments you so much you feel like you're the only one who's being seen in the room, and is definitely got a field of yes men, small or large. You know, take it slow. Don't let him control your finances or tell you to move in with him. Same for the chick too, guys. You know, and you know, other pairings as well. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or who they are. Just this person is coming up with these traits, but this is their intention. So watch for them, because when I started flipping these cards, immediately this card comes out and my brain's like, oh, nope, this is going bad. This is not the person you want. And I'm like, well, who's not the person I want? And then the Queen of Cups comes out. You know? So, alright, guys. Well, I think that's about all I have to say. I think, honestly, the confirmation card's just going to say the exact same thing, so there's really not much of a point to the confirmation cards right now. So I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully, if you are the person this is meant to get the message, hopefully you'll get this. And if you are not, you know, maybe there's some insight in something that you have going on in this reading. So hopefully if you got this far, hopefully there was that in there for you. And either way, don't forget, guys, I do book one-on-ones. They are one a day. I know there's a lot of readers that do hourly, but guys, the energy when I read is heavy. It always has been. I've never read for more than one person per day since I started reading at 3 years old. Now, of course, I didn't start reading for people regularly until I got to middle school. I started reading palms and playing cards for my friends. but I didn't start. I've never actually read professionally because, guys, I can't take money for my readings. That's why you should book a one-on-one. You'll love the cost. It's not going to cost not much at all. No, they're not free. They're just not currency-based. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. You know how it goes. As always, don't forget, it doesn't matter who you are. I love you. Take care of each other. And I'll see you guys in the next one.